All right, everybody, welcome to lesson 4 of module 2. In this lesson, we're going to address pre-completed notes. And what are pre-completed notes? Pre-completed notes are basically notes that have a lot of the elemental portions of them completed before you even begin. This includes uh, just the skeleton of the HPI and a pre-completed ROS and uh, physical exam. And this just helps you save a few clicks. Again, it's just a part of your note speed strategy. It is definitely just supplemental to lessons 1 through 3, which are the most critical lessons. So here's what we'll cover in this lesson: utilizing pre-completed notes within your EHR, as well as importing your own pre-completed note as a dot phrase. And these are only if your EMR allows for it. So number one, you will some EMRs such as Cerner will have pre-completed notes that you can just continually use and that you can make more of. However, some EMRs only are a blank slate, and in those you can import your own pre-completed dot phrase or block text, and we'll go through that as well. So let's begin looking at these options. Again, pre-completed notes will just accelerate your speed by cutting down a little bit of extra typing, but it is not the most critical thing, and that is why it is in lesson 4 as opposed to the initial lessons. We'll take a look at an example with Cerner of a pre-completed note, how to do it, and um, how to do it if you do not have pre-completed notes. So here we're looking at a note, and as you can see, again, this is a typical Cerner note. There are a lot of click boxes. We are not clicking these. In fact, if you look here, you'll see that it says, please see HPI, please see HPI for modifiers, please see HPI for modifiers. And this is the way we want it, because we do not want to click, 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 and just keep clicking away. And once we get to our HPI here, we see that it's already pre-filled with our past medical history, meds, allergies, social skeleton, and family history skeleton as well. And we go down, we notice a review of systems is already filled, and we are not filling in health status or past medical history here. We are just referencing HPI. Please reference HPI. Again, please reference HPI. And we, even for medical history, we ask the system here to reference HPI. Now, in addition to that, you will also see that our physical exam is already complete here, and that is already, the skeleton for it is complete. And this is a pre-completed note. We even have a little pre-completion here on that the patient is stable and that they're discharged, just because this is a location where I work where the likely outcome is usually a discharge on this, and so I keep it pre-completed to that. Now, the big question is, how do you get a note where you just open it and it looks like this? So this is something we're going to go into right now. So what we want to do is go up here, and we are going to find where it says documentation. And when we click documentation, we can see an option here that saves as pre-completed note. So what I did initially was I started a note, and this was on any random patient. It did not have to be a patient that I'm actually writing a note on, and I manually inputted all of this. But I only manually inputted it because I know that I can go into my documentation and I can go on save as pre-completed note, and I will never have to manually input this again. I can now simply save as new, and every time I go to write a note, I will have the option to pull up this pre-existing note, and I will show you how that works. And I will go here to add a note, and as I will see, these are pre-completed notes that I've created. Here's one for general, here's one for pediatrics, and here's one for COVID pneumonia, because I was seeing a lot of that at some point. Now, as soon as I click this, it will open up the note, and it'll open it up in a pre-completed fashion. I will show you here, and I will hit OK. And here my note opens up pre-completed, and I can scroll down and just basically start right here and start getting my note done as soon as I click into this and hitting my F3 as we've worked on before. I can just start with this HPI. I can hit F3 again and start typing into all my blanks here and getting everything done. All right. Now, what if your EMR does not have pre-completed notes? Well, you can actually create a pre-completed note as your own dot phrase. I will show a quick example of this. So here we are in a chart that we've already been in before, and we've been using this chart as an example. Now, obviously here, this chart pre-populates your headings. Some charts do not do that. So let's just say, for example, starting here at some point, we did not have any of this complete. So we can delete all this, and we are starting with a blank slate note. I'll delete these and resume. Now here we are starting with a note that has no information at all. It is a clear note, and what we could actually easily do, especially if this was a free text note and we wanted our pre-completed note, we could just have a dot note hole, and this is just a dot phrase that we've created. So I just put dot note hole, and it pre-populated my whole note. Now, as soon as I hit F3, we know what it's going to do. It is going to take me to my first blank where I can begin typing in my .hpi. I can begin saying that this patient has abdominal pain, has a past medical history of none, not taking meds, and he is again presenting with abdominal pain. So easily here we can start to see how we are going to use our F3 key. We are going to move through it very quickly, and we are not even going to have to take our hand off the keyboard. Everything was pre-populated here, except for maybe one thing here where we are just going to say positive abdominal pain. Otherwise, we make sure that we keep everything else as a no so that we don't have to go in and put in no's, right? Again, physical exam, we are able to just delete here, and we are able to hit our control key and use shift to fully highlight everything all at once, and then we delete, right? We can say positive tender right lower quadrant. Okay, and that is a way we can actually pre-fill our own pre-completed note. So we'll continue moving on here. Here's what we've covered in lesson 4. We've covered utilizing a pre-completed note within your EMR, or importing and or creating your own pre-completed note as a dot phrase. Here are some action items to consider for Module 2 that will help you be on your way. Number 1 action items is start using dot phrases on your next shift. This will be your rocket fuel to improving your note speed. You would benefit from creating dot phrases for everything, and I have done that for you, and those are all included in this course in the resources sections. Again, you can just upload my dot phrases to your EMR, or you could modify them as you see fit and as you see that you will best be able to remember them. Number 2 is you can utilize quick select tools and keyboard shortcuts, and this is going to maximize and work very synergistically with your dot phrases. So these are some of the 2 key action items that you want to be focusing on. Third and fourth is preparing your review of systems and physical exam macros. You can use mine. They are in there. They are listed under .pe comprehensive and .ros comprehensive. And lastly, you could utilize pre-completed notes to put all of this together. All right. What I'd like you to think of this as is these are your detail items here. And then as you zoom out, you start to create more macro items here. Macro items being review of systems, PE, physical exam macros, and now a whole note that contains all of these. I'll leave you with this. There's a quote from Abraham Lincoln. It says, "If I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." I want you to think of your dot phrases as your axe. Spend time sharpening your dot phrases before you go to your next shift. This will get you on your way to documenting faster immediately.